What's going on, everyone? This is Devin here from Anytime Outdoors. Welcome to the channel, and here's my first video. Today I want to just do a quick introduction to just very basic tarp shelter construction, and the configuration we'll be looking at today will be a Plow-Point, and the tarp that I'm using is made by DD Hammocks, which is a 3 meter by 3 meter tarp with 19 tie-out points. So let's get the first of the two Plow-Points posted up real quick. All right, so here is a hastily constructed Plow-Point shelter, and you will see that up there I'm attached to a ridge line that goes up to that tree, although you don't need the ridge line to go from the tree all the way to the ground necessarily. In this case, it's really acting more like a guy line in a sense. It's just attached to the tree and then staked directly to the ground. We walk over here, we have a stakeout point right here in the corner, and the same opposing corner. I have this one pretty low, and I'll get to why that is here in a moment. I'm going to walk over here and grab my trekking pole. I usually put my trekking pole as high as it will go and try to put the end of this close to the trekking pole height. This should really be a little bit higher, but I just thought I would give you the trekking pole as just a quick reference as generally a decent starting point for the height. Now, people that make outdoor content love the Plow-Point shelter, and it's okay. In decent weather, it's actually pretty good. I think in much poorer, windier conditions, especially whenever you have wind coming around from all kinds of different directions, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But I'm going to do a quick height adjustment on this and pick back up from there. Okay, so we've improved our working height about as much as we're realistically going to get. It's still not quite high as the trekking pole, but my backyard here is kind of a limiting factor. But you can see it's a decent distance from the ground. We do have some wind blowing today. We'll have just another quick look inside. For just a very quick, dare I say, emergency shelter, the Plow-Point it's respectable. We'll walk around here to the other side, and you can see that the wind is kind of blowing in from this side of the shelter, so it's kind of pushing in that way and giving it that kind of droopy, saggy look. And so that's the quickest Plow-Point you're going to really be able to put up, and you really just need a tree or a trekking pole, and that's about it. So now let's take a look at a different version of the Plow-Point that, we'll debate whether or not it's better, but it's another Plow-Point, but with a twist. All right, so the first key difference here is we've switched ends on the Plow-Point. We did have this end to the ground and the tree end open, so we flip-flopped this. Also notice that the front is supported by the trekking pole, followed by a guy line. Now you really can't see the ridge line / guy line here, but what we've done is taken the center tie out on this tarp, which is unique to these DD hammock style tarps, and we have that ran to the tree now instead, so we have much better elevation to the middle of the tarp. Now, lifting up that middle tie out does some weird stuff to the back there, and I actually get a little better tension by tucking that pointy tail up underneath the tarp and then staking out the first stake out in from the two corners, or from the one corner I should say, one on either side of what would have been the tail. But overall, this is a really solid tweak on the Plow-Point shelter. One thing that I would add here as we look at the other side, if you had two trees spaced apart, much like these two in the background here, this angle right here would be more or less level or parallel to the ground. And so that's kind of a, one little variation there that would be afforded to you by a couple of trees that were well spaced apart. Otherwise, we have a much better working height here since we are based on the trekking pole. We can get in here, have a quick look, and it really is a decent amount of space. It really is. I mean, you've got to get a little further towards the back to get some nice lay down space, especially if you have like a self-inflating ground pad that's going to take up, some length side to side. Still, the Plow-Point for a reasonable weather situation, I think it's just a good way to start experimenting with these types of shelters. Now you can see a little light coming in from the side there to the ground. Obviously those can be staked in. Now just a quick word about our sliding knot here that we have for our guy line stake. This is called a taut line hitch. And it's not the intention of this video to try to cover knots or the specific moving parts of staking one of these Plow-Points out. This video is more about the sort of contrasting a basic quick deploy Plow-Point versus the configuration with this middle pulled out. And I think it's pretty obvious that having this mid area pulled out is a pretty distinct advantage. Probably the biggest negative to any of these open type shelters, whether it's a Plow-Point, a lean-to, and to some extent the A-frame, because a classic A-frame is going to be open on both ends, is that with changing winds you may be fighting a little bit of a battle there without having to erect some kind of a wind buffer. But with calmer winds and decent temperatures, I would even say in later spring, early summer, there's really nothing wrong with these Plow-Points. Now the plus side of these open type configurations is they're a little less prone to condensation. But that's a wrap on the introduction video. I hope you guys will enjoy this channel, and until next time, see you later.